Hi there, I'm Jesse from Miro, and in this quick video, we're going to cover how Miro Flows can help you and your teams accelerate the time it takes to evaluate RFI submissions from vendors. Now, if you're not familiar with Miro Flows gives you the ability to chain together and templatize multi-step workflows directly within the canvas, helping you and your teams truly stay in your flow of work. Let's take a look at this in action. Now, this all starts with a pre-built Miro template based on best practices, saving you and your teams a ton of time as you kick this off. All that you have to do is hit Use Template, and the entire thing will be built out for you instantly, saving you a ton of time and giving you the structure that you need to kick things off. And just like that, we can now see that our multi-step flow has been deployed for us on the canvas, and now we can zoom in here to the left-hand side to understand what we need to do to make this flow work. And as you can see here, this flow is all about helping you and your teams extract requirements from workshops and actually score implementation partners as quickly as possible. To use this template, we need a few key inputs: transformation workshop transcript, the RFIs from 3 different partners, as well as any sourcing constraints that come into consideration. And using Miro Flows, we're going to take those inputs and actually generate 5 meaningful outputs that are going to help us to evaluate these partners quicker. Let's take a look. Great. So if we move to the right in the template a little bit, we can see that I've pulled in some of those inputs. I've embedded a Google document here with the workshop transcript from a previous workshop. We have some sticky notes from the team on must-haves, nice-to-have, risks and concerns, as well as some RFIs from one consulting group to then a second embedded Google Doc to then a third embedded Google Doc. And we have our sourcing constraints. And now all of these rich sources can be the inputs that we need to kick off this multi-step flow. And with Miro Flows, you have the ability to add on-format prompting. So here you can see that the first step of this workflow is to actually generate a requirement extraction document. And you can see here that we've added an on-format prompt that talks about the inputs that have been provided and the outputs that we want this document to generate. With Miro Flows, we also give you the ability to choose the AI model of your choice. So you can decide if you want to use Claude, GPT, Gemini, so on and so forth. We also give you the ability to connect Miro AI to company knowledge sources like Amazon Q, Gemini Enterprise, Microsoft Copilot, really bringing your ways of working and documentation into Miro. And Miro Flows also have the ability to search the web. And now all that we have to do to kick this off is hit run. And we're going to see in the top right-hand corner that this is kicking off a 5-step workflow, where at first, Miro Flows is going to generate that document for us with the key requirements. It's then going to generate a table with the partner response mapping against those requirements. It's then going to actually score the partner responses to help us to evaluate the 3 different options. It will then build out a slide deck with a partner comparison summary. And finally, it'll generate a document with the actual recommended partner and the rationale. Let's come back once all of this has been completed. And just like that, in about 90 seconds, we can see that our 5-step flow has been completed. And Miro Flows has taken all of those rich inputs that we provided it and went out and actually generated a document outlining the partner requirements. It then used that document to help us map those partners across each requirement. So here you can see the requirement, partner A's response, B's response, and C's response. It then did some scoring based off of the actual criteria that we've outlined for each of the 3 partners. It then built us a slide deck that gives us a clear view on the evaluation of each of these partners, making it super easy for us to actually decide where we should move forward. And then finally, it even built out a recommendation on which partner we should go with and why. And you just saw how easy it was to generate all of this content by just bringing in key inputs, connecting them to the Miro flow, and letting the flow do all of that heavy lifting for us. And because Miro Flows creates content using Miro artifacts, everything that you're seeing is customizable. So you can go in and actually iterate on the text in the document, add line items to the table, change the branding or the colors of the slide deck, and then rerun the flow from there to take into consideration any of those changes that you just made downstream. Let me show you how easy this is to do using a Miro Sidekick, which is another one of our exciting new AI features. Great, so you can now see that we've opened up our side panel here with our Sidekick, and we've actually selected the Strategic Partner Evaluation Sidekick, which has been trained to actually help us evaluate partners as we go through this process. And with Sidekicks, the canvas is truly the prompt. You're able to actually highlight content on the board, like selecting this table, and the Sidekick can actually see that object. You don't have to do any complicated prompting. All that I need to do is go in here and ask it to identify unauthorized assumptions, and it's then going to go out and do that for us. I don't have to do any prompting. I don't have to give it direct access to anything on the canvas. Instantly, everything is being pulled out for us. Great. And you can now see that the sidekick joined us on the canvas, and it created a document for us outlining some of the key assumptions that we have not outlined yet that we should feed into our decision-making criteria. We can then add this to the canvas and actually use this as a new input for that slide deck by simply dragging and connecting that input to the output, and then hit run from the slide deck instead of from the beginning. So this kicks off a 2-step flow instead of that 5-step flow, where you can easily iterate with Miro Flows versus a traditional LLM where you'd have to scroll way up in your chat to make any changes to something midstream. Now all that you have to do is add a new artifact or iterate on the existing one and hit run, and then Miro Flows does all of that heavy lifting for you. Great, so while that's running in the background, there's one other thing that I'd like to highlight about Miro Flows. Miro Flows also gives you the ability to truly bring visibility and transparency into how you and your teams are working with AI. I no longer need to go ask my team what model they used, what was the prompt that they generated, what were their inputs. With Miro Flows, you now have a living source of record as your team is collaborating with AI. Your team members can actually join you on the board and help you with prompt refinement, make any adjustments, and see exactly what was the input, the prompt, and the output that was generated, bringing full transparency to how teams are using AI. Now, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this quick video. I hope this was a helpful overview of how you and your teams can use Miro Flows to accelerate partner evaluations, and I'd encourage you to give this a try for yourself or book a demo with a member of our team to see it in more detail. Thanks.